What's going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the set Chaos Impact, and more importantly, the cards that I'm most excited for. I went through and skimmed through some of the cards that were leaked on the org. I mean, the whole set was leaked, but to take a more in-depth look at everything and sort of pick out the cards that I'm really looking forward to the most. I've got 16 cards in total. I may have missed a thing or two. If I did, if there's any other cards that you guys are particularly excited about, feel free to let me know, of course, down in the comment section below. And before we get started with the 16 card rundown of my favorite cards for Chaos Impact, go ahead and check out Imperium Duelist down in the description below. Also, if you're buying anything off of TCG Player, don't forget to use my affiliate link down in the description below as well if you want to help support the channel. So without further ado, let's get started with card number 1. So the first card I have here is this card called Conglomerate, Primate of Conglomerates. And I actually saw this card in Tombox's video of his set analysis that he did. Good video, by the way. You should go check it out if you want. But basically, it is a level 8 rock earth monster. I believe also searchable via block dragon, which is kind of cool. Like all this rock support that we're getting. And speaking of rock support, we'll be talking about another card later on that is some rock support as well. A bit too much rock support, but anyways, it says cannot be normal summoner set. Again, level 8, 3000 attack, 2000 defense. Must be special summoned by a card effect. If a monster or monsters is sent from your opponent's hand and or deck to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand in face down defense position. If this card is flipped face up, you can target up to 2 cards in the field and destroy them. So this is a card that I could see being played in a lot of BA decks. More like block dragon earth decks maybe, because those things can actually kind of become a thing nowadays. It seems like a very viable engine. I've seen it being played in the past, and it seems like we're just constantly getting more and more rock and earth support, which is pretty cool because these are some pretty good cards. I mean, sending anything from their hand or deck to the graveyard, I see dangers. I see a lot of like Thunder Dragon stuff. Just a whole bunch of stuff like this could apply to, and you just get to summon it face down defense. It's got 2000 defense, so it's going to be kind of hard to get through, and if it does get flipped face up, you have the option to destroy 2 cards, which is going to have to burn some sort of interruption or negation on. So this card seems pretty cool, and I think it's a common as well, which is nice. Now on to card number 2 here, we have Spiral Dragon Bulge. If you control 2 or more light and or dark dragon monsters while this card's in your hand and or graveyard, you can special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. And then during your main phase, you can make all monsters you currently control become level 8 until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Spiral Dragon Bulge once per turn. So I like this card specifically because it can be used in Photon Galaxy. Of course, it has a wide ranges of other uses with guard dragon decks, ban list taken into account, if how well that engine will do after the ban list, but I can easily see this being splashed into Photon Galaxy. Level 8 trade-in target works in the graveyard as well. Galaxy has Photon Dragon and Soul Flare being on board. You just summon this card out essentially for free and do whatever you want with it. Also modifies levels, which is nice as well. So that's that card there. Now we'll move on to card number 3 here. I've chosen the Unchained Soul of Disaster. There's a lot of other Unchained monsters in the main. I think there's 2 other main deck monsters, but this one I like specifically, and there's also a secret rare as well. But it says gain 300 attack for each Unchained card in your graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects of Unchained Soul of Disaster once per turn. The first effect is you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls as cost. Immediately after this effect resolves, link summon 1 Dark Link monster using only this card you control and that opponent's monster as material. So this is the card that allows you to start off linking in to your extra deck monsters, your other Unchained monsters, using your opponent's monsters, which is really nice. This is a very important piece to the deck strategy, I feel. Definitely be needed. Definitely going to be somewhat pricey as a secret rare, I feel, but I like this card's artwork. I think the mechanic is great and very interesting, something we've obviously never seen before, and I really do like this card going forward. It's also a level 8 Fiend, 0 defense, or 0 attack, 3000 defense, so some pretty nice stats as well. And the other fact is, if this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, start 1 Unchained monster in your graveyard except itself and special summon it, so it just has that recursion factor as well. Now this next card is really cool. It's called Yatta no Misaki, the Mechanical Bird, which I believe its name was changed in the TCG called Gizmek Yatta, the Gleaming Vanguard. So it's sort of a part of this Gizmek saga that we're having. We have Gizmek Orochi and then Gizmek Yatta. And this card is super, super cool. For those that don't know what it does, it is a level 5 light machine, 250 attack and 250 defense. Artwork looks really, really nice as well. It says you can special summon this card from your hand by attributing one normal summon or set monster. You can only use each of the following effects of Yatta no Misaki, the mechanical bird, once per turn. I'm glad they changed its name to just call it Gizmek Yatta for now on. During your main phase, if this card was normal or special summon this turn, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one monster. Also, immediately after this effect resolves, also you cannot special summon monsters this turn except monsters with the same original type as that monster. So it does have some restriction, but in the right deck, that restriction won't seem like a restriction at all. And then its other effect is, if this card that was special summoned by its own effect is distributed, you gain 2,050 life points. So a pretty interesting card there, and I think this one might slip under the radar a lot. I believe it's also a common, I think. No, it's a super rare, I believe. I can double check with the ore here. Yeah, it is a super rare, so it won't be a common. Might be a little harder to get your hands on, but not so incredibly much, so that it won't be desirable to pick up because of how much it costs. But definitely a very, very cool card. Next, I've got to put Marin Blue Tang. This card is insane. Best starter card for the entire deck of Marin. It's a secret rare, unfortunately. Probably going to be 50 bucks a copy, somewhere around there. But sometimes you just got to take the L if you want to play the deck and get the W's. You know what I'm saying? You gotta shell out for it sometimes. That's just how Yu-Gi-Oh is, unfortunately. But this card is incredible. Sends any Marin monster from the deck to the graveyard. So Seahorse or Mandarin. And also has that effect of sort of like a Pot of Duality or Foxy effect, or Area Zero, whatever you want to call it. This card is absolutely incredible. Cannot wait to get my hands on it. Now, the next card here is Monster Express. This has to probably be my favorite card coming out in this entire set, next to Blue Tang, and I'll tell you why. So, for a couple reasons, I really like this card. The first being that it is a train monster. Just looking at the artwork, it looks like a train monster 100%. Level 4 too, which is nice because the one thing the train archetype is lacking is more level 4s, good level 4s. I mean, I guess we have Anchor, Drill, and Pegasus. Those are really good level 4s, but this doesn't hurt to add to that cause. But I really like this card because it says you can target one face-up monster you control, send one monster from your extra deck to the graveyard with the same original type as that face-up monster. But for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters except monsters with the same original type as the monsters sent to the graveyard by this effect. You can only use this effect of Monster Express once per turn. So the reason I like this card is, first of all, it's an Earth Machine. And what does that mean? You can just send Double-Headed Anger Knuckle directly to the graveyard for free to be able to revive it out and just, you know, use its effect, summon out of the grave by sending any monster or sending any card from your hand to the graveyard. Hand or field to the graveyard. So you can just send a Ruffian, send a Derek Crane, send a Bolt Express, whatever you want to get in the graveyard, and just special summon this out. The Double-Headed Anger Knuckle, that is, all off of this one card. So it's a pretty cool normal summon, and it's still an Earth Machine, so, you know, you can, like, you get your Derek Crane off the normal summon, you can, you know, use Bolt Express while it's on the field. Tons of potential with this card. I really, really do like it 100%. And I'm very, very excited for this card to come. I don't even know it was going to be in Chaos Impact. I didn't even know this card existed until maybe 10 minutes ago. But this card is absolutely awesome, and I'm really, really looking forward, and you guys should be as well, especially if you guys are playing trains, because that deck is low-key underrated. Next here, we have the last main deck card, and that is Brutal Beast Battle. It's a normal trap, and basically it says if a player controls 2 or more monsters of the same card type, Ritual Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link, they must send some to the graveyard so they control no more than one monster of that card type. Then each player that sent a monster to the graveyard for this effect draws cards equal to the number of different card types, Ritual Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link, they control. So I like this card because it's kind of like a quick play, not really a quick play, but, you know, a one-turn Gozen match, or there can be only one, but for like extra deck card types. It's really cool, and then both players draw cards. I could sort of see this being splashed into some decks. I don't know. I don't know if this card will see, like, play right off the bat. I doubt it will, but at some point it might pop its head up in the right format as being a card that could be really, really taken advantage of, because it seems pretty good. I mean, the draw effect is a bit of a drawback, obviously, no pun intended, but it does have that really powerful effect to be able to sort of wipe the field of, you know, certain types of extra deck monsters, which is really, really potent. And then moving on to the next card here, I have the Dragon Ogre Deity of Tenyi, the, of course, Tenyi Synchro, the level 8 The thing I like the most about this card is it is generic. It takes one tuner and one non-tuner monster, a worm, level 8, dark, 3000 attack, 0 defense. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish that monster. So that's just a generic level 8. They use an effect, you're just like, banish and get it out of my face. And then its other effect is if this attacking card destroys an effect monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. Also, it can make a second attack on monsters during each battle phase. And then you can only use each effect of Dragon, Ogre, Deity of Tenyi once per turn. So the thing I like most about this card is it doesn't have anything to do with Tenyi. That's the best thing about it. Banishing, quick effect, and also can attack multiple times. It destroys an effect monster. And unless you're playing like in the mirror match or something, or against spirals like Phantasm Spirals, like you're always going to get that effect off. And it is a 3000 body as well. So this card looking super strong. Next up is another synchro monster here, and this is Desert Locust. This card is really cool because it does have some hand looping potential, but not so much so that it's like kind of dangerous for the game, at least in my opinion. But it is a level 6 insect synchro tuner effect monster, 1500 attack, 2400 defense, 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. If this card is synchro summoned, the turn player discards 1 card. You can only use this effect of Desert Locust once per turn. And then once per chain during your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. So obviously you want to set up something like Formula or Shooting Riser Dragon, or in the future maybe like Needle Fiber or something, and just, you know, do shenanigans with this card, because this does have hand looping potential. Luckily it is a hard once per turn, so you can't summon multiples of these in the same turn, but you could synchro it on your opponent's turn, right? They lose a card, and then possibly use its effect again to synchro into a Trish of some sort and make them drop another card. Or some other people were pointing out, and you know, Mermail players, you could make this and then synchro with infantry, you know, to go into Omega and rip a card out of their hand as well. So a pretty interesting card. That discard effect and the fact that it can synchro into other cards that discard cards is pretty cool. But next here we have a rank 4. This is the Granite Loyalist, or as it's being called in the TCG, the Gallant Granite. It has 2300 attack and 1800 defense, 2 level 4 monsters, and this is that rock support I was talking about earlier that makes that rock deck seemingly more enticing day by day. But it says you can attach 1 material from this card, then activate one of these effects. Add 1 rock monster from your deck to your hand, so aka it can search Nibiru. Second effect, special summon 1 rock monster from your hand in face down defense position. You only use this effective Granite Loyalist once per turn. So this card is absolutely bonkers. It just searches Nibiru, rank 4 decks, just search Nibiru. Just like that. Just go ahead and search. It's a generic rank 4, detach, add a rock monster. You could even add this Congrade Primate of Conglomerates as well, the card we talked about at the very beginning of the video. That's a searchable target too. So like, this card, low-key underrated, doesn't lock you into anything, is generic, just simple rank 4, add any rock monster from your deck to your hand. Incredible card. The next we have the Unchained Abomination. I was going to include the other 2 Unchained monsters, but this one is amazing. And it's also an ultra rare, so it's not going to be that hard to get, hopefully, and it won't be too expensive. There's 2+ monsters, including a link monster. If a card or cards on the field is destroyed by card effect except by Unchained Abomination, and except during the damage step, you can target 1 card in the field and destroy it. And when another monster is destroyed by battle, you can target 1 card in the field, destroy it. During the end phase, you can target 1 card in the field, destroy it. You can only use each effect of Unchained Abomination once per turn. So this card just says destroy, destroy, destroy. Get those copies of Awaken the Dragon ready. This thing just comes out and just blows everything up. Sucks against Thunder, sucks against Orcus, but who knows, with the upcoming ban list, we might see that change a bit. Who knows? It's really anybody's guess at this point. And then next we have the beautiful, ever so nice looking Salmon Great Pyro Phoenix. This card I would 100% play in Salmon Greats, whether it's a good meta call or not. I love this card. The artwork's incredible, and its effect, not half bad. 2 fire effect monsters to go into this link 4 with 2800 attack. If this card is link summoned using Salmon Great Pyro Phoenix as material, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. So just a complete board wipe. Again, sucks against Thunder, sucks against Orcus, but hopefully this ban list really pushes this card over the edge. And then it says you can only use each of the following effects of Salmon Great Pyro Phoenix once per turn. So the first effect being, you can target 1 link monster in your opponent's graveyard. special summon to their field. And then it says if a link monster or monsters are special summoned to your opponent's field, you can target one of those monsters and inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. So it does have a bit of a burn effect. You just survive any link out. Could be a zone to where your Sunlight, well, you couldn't really do that. I mean, I guess you could. If this card was underneath Sunlight Wolf, you could just summon something to the zone that Sunlight Wolf points to, and then set up a chain, add back, and then burn. So this card sets up a lot of potential with just that effect in its own right. And burn damage with the time rules, of course, as bad as it may seem, it's something you got to take into account as something people might try to use. You get an edge up in time. So this card I really do like 100%. The next up we have the Master of the Ten Yi. The new Ten Yi Link monster says 2+ monsters including a Link monster, so somewhat generic. Cannot be destroyed by battle with effect monsters. If you control no other effect monsters, you can destroy effect monsters your opponent controls up the number of non-effect monsters in your graveyard and or face up on your field. You can only use this effect of Master of the Ten Yi once per turn. And it's a Link 3 with 2600 attack, keep in mind. This card is incredible. We're seeing the Ten Yi archetype being splashed more and more. You know, the whole Vishuda with Monk. I'm really waiting to see if Ten Yi has what it takes to really just take off on its own. And this is definitely a step in the right direction. It just has that non-targeting destruction, and it can destroy up to however many non-effects you have in your grave or on your field. So it does have a lot of potential. And this could be splashed in a lot of decks that are already running that Ten Yi engine. Because, you know, Vishuda into, like, the Monk, bounce a card, and then link it to Land for Rinkus, and then link that into something else, like maybe the Master of the Ten Yi, and just get another removal on top of that. Might be worth the extra deck space, and it has really good arrows as well. Next up, we have the Galaxy Satellite Dragon. This card, I really wish it did something for Galaxies other than just Dragon decks as a whole. But it is just a Link 2 with 2000 attack. 2 dragon monsters. Probably the thing I hate the most about this is it takes 2 dragon monsters, but can be done in photons. And then during your battle phase quick effect, you can banish this card from your field or graveyard, then target one number Xyz monster control that was originally a light dragon until the end of this battle phase. Until the end of the battle phase, any battle damage your opponent takes is halved. Also, that monster's attack becomes equal to the number in its name times 100. During your opponent's end phase, you can choose one card from your deck and place it on top of your deck. That's probably the best effect. That's probably the effect that I like the most about it. It's just, do you want to give up your Soul Flare and some other dragon on your side of the field to be able just to stack your deck next turn? I don't know. Number 90 lets you search a card as is. I don't know if it's 100% worth it, but dragon decks, beware, because they might be throwing this card in there to search all sorts of shenanigans. All right, so the next card I want to talk about is the IEP Mask Arena. This card I've been seeing used in a lot of Generate decks and definitely has a lot of potential going forward, and just any deck in general. Just takes 2 non-link monsters, has 800 attack, arrows in the bottom left and bottom right, dark, and it says during your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect. Immediately after this effect resolves, link summon using this card you control. You can only use this effect of IEP Mask Arena once per turn. A link monster that was summoned using this card as link material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effect. So this card is really good because it can just allow any deck to just go into a Nightmare, per se, is the best example I can give, on their opponent's turn. Pop a spell trap, pop a monster, spin a card, you name it, or even go into Nightmare Griffin if you really wanted to. So long as, of course, you have the extra monsters to back it up. But yeah, this card, it just seems amazing, and I think it'll be a really good generic staple in a lot of decks popping up. It is an ultra rare, so I could see its price probably being around 20 to 25 originally, like right off the bat, and maybe settling around 20. I don't know. I'm not a market watch person, but the last card I have to talk about here is, of course, Striker Dragon. 1 level 4 or lower dragon monster with an arrow pointing to the left. If this card is link summoned, you can add 1 boot sector launch from your deck to your hand. You can target 1 face-up monster your opponent, or 1 face-up monster you control, and 1 rocket monster in your graveyard. Destroy that monster on the field, and if you do, add the other monster to your hand. And then you can only use this effect of Striker Dragon once per turn. So this card is just going to set up tons of combos with, you know, Dragon Link, etc., etc. But again, it all depends on the ban list. Who knows? But this card, in of its own right, ban list, you know, or not, whether guard dragons kind of get slaughtered or not, this is still a really good link monster for rockets. So if you're a rocket player and you don't kind of like the guard dragon stuff, you've got a really good card coming your way regardless. So yeah, that has been it for this video. My top cards in Chaos Impact. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and more importantly, let me know what you guys think are your favorite cards that are going to be coming out in Chaos Impact. Did I miss anything? Did I show you guys something you weren't expecting? Or did I show a card that you guys think is maybe kind of not that great? I don't know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Nonetheless, leave a like if you did. Don't forget to check out Imperium Duelist and my TCG player affiliate link down in the description below. Hope you guys are having a good one. And as always, Winner Kill Sign out. We'll see you guys in the next one.